12 notes, many combinations, many chords, many keys, many styles. Which of these 12 are you going to use? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. Grab your guitar, we're going to get started right after this. Hello, my name is David from the Wallaman Guitar Artistry. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players around the world develop their musical personality. There are a few guidelines in music. I was going to say rules, but rules can be broken and it's okay to break them. This is an art form, this is a communication form, this is a storytelling game, so of course we can break the rules, but we're going to explore those guidelines today. We're going to talk a little bit about theory, a tiny bit, and a lot about how what you play has a profound impact on the listener, and of course, also an impact on what you're playing over. We're going to talk all about that. Now, we're going to use some drones today. A drone is just a pitch, a standard pitch, and we have a drone in A today, the one that you can hear right now. Not very exciting. But what you play over this is going to be brought to life, and there's a profound lesson that we're going to cover in a second. Now, there are several drones for you, just like this one, and charts of recommended scales that you can explore. All that is available for free. The link is below. Sign up once, you'll get access to the assets of this video and many other assets on the channel completely free. All right, so a quick reminder of what the guideline of music is. The guideline is made of a series of different principles, but at its core, we are interacting with something. It's an interaction game. Just like when you're painting, well, you're interacting with the paper. You're adding color and shapes to a piece of paper. Just like when you are conversing with someone, you are interacting with that someone. And sometimes that someone is a listener, sometimes you become the listener, but it's an interaction game. Same exact thing in music. That interaction has to do with what you are delivering musically with what is being heard. Now, that thing that's being heard could be in a band situation or a jam with a friend or a backing track or a simple drone, a backing track in its simplest form right here. So we are interacting today over this. That is our canvas, a blank piece of paper, if you will, that we're going to interact with. And the first touch with that paper, with our pencil, is going to direct the rest, right? Okay, so right here we have that piece of paper that you can hear, and I'm in a first point of contact here, a note that is going to determine other things. I could pick any note, it doesn't matter. That note is interacting with what is going on in the back, right? That gives you a feeling, right? Maybe it's a feeling of peace, or maybe it's a feeling of a little bit of discomfort, mystery. You pick up what it makes you feel, and that's a very important thing, I think. You are in control of what you want to deliver, and you are not allowed to tell someone you should feel happiness here. I've always believed that. Music's something personal. Quick story. I'm 42. When I was 17 or 18, graduated from high school. Yes. I doubled a year. Yes, I was not a good student. Started college, started music college. After a couple months, I was out of there. I dropped out completely. Why? Well, because there was a course that I had to follow in college on music. And at the time, you know, I was just a young, rebellious teenager. But the teacher said, this is the major third. You should feel happiness with that. And that should broke it for me. I was out the next week. I dropped out of college and never looked back because of that. Music is something personal. So keep that in mind as you're playing. I really do believe that. You say whatever you want musically and people can receive it the way they want. Okay? That said, what I played there established something, a mood, whatever it is. Now, let's go with the rules of music a tiny little bit, the guidelines. Again, I don't like the term rules with music, but typically when I say rule in music, what I'm referring to is the way that people, most of the people, so more than 50% of people are going to perceive this as stable. Now, what is this? Well, it's the principle of music where you need to match musical elements together. You need to match intervals together. So that means that over a chord, a 3-note chord, for example, this, doesn't matter what it is. It's an A major triad, 3 notes here. These 3 notes all have functions and they resonate with each other. It gives you that feeling, whatever that feeling is. Now, if I were to play over this, I have many, many choices. I have 12 notes that I can play, but the quote-unquote rule, guideline, if you want to be perceived as stable, acceptable, pleasant by more than 50% of the listeners, you are going to want to make sure that if you were to pick one of these 3 notes in the scale, it needs to be that note. Now, these notes have different functions, right? Intervals. In this case, 1, 3, 5. This is the root, the 1, the major third, not the minor third, that's different, and the perfect fifth. Not diminished fifth, not augmented fifth, perfect fifth. That's what makes this chord, 1, 3, 5. Root, major third, perfect fifth. If in my solo, or if as I'm interacting, if I'm becoming the pencil, and this is the piece of paper, the sheet of paper, if over that I were to play a third, I need to play a major third. That's stable. If I played a minor third over this, that minor third over that major third would be dissonant, which is a feeling too. It's not a bad feeling. Well, it's not a pleasant feeling, but it's not a feeling you need to disregard. But most people are going to perceive that as dissonant. Okay, that was the rule, the guideline, the thing that you want to do if you want to please most people. You don't have to. Okay, now let's go back to our drone here. Our drone here is the piece of paper. There's only one pitch, which means that really there are very little places of error. You might argue there are no places of error over this. You can play anything. If this is considered the 1, the thing that attracts everything else, the magnet, the piece of paper, then you can draw anything on it, right? If it's a blank piece of paper, you can draw a car, a person, a house, a bird. Doesn't matter, right? Now, if that piece of paper had more notes, it's kind of like having a sheet of paper from a coloring book where you have a car. And on that car, if you decide to completely break the rules and instead of following the lines of the car, you start drawing a face of a clown on a bicycle, you're going to have 2 pictures. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. That's okay, right? All right, so topic of this video is which notes should you play? Well, really the notes you want, but you need to be aware of how that note is going to make you feel because you are telling the story, and maybe in the background be aware of what the note is going to make them feel, or you feel, the listener feel, okay? So the PDFs are recommended scales. So if you're using the A drone here, that's the case, that's an A, everything is going to be attractive to that. Pick one of these scales, any that starts with an A, and that's going to be your guideline. That's going to start drawing a picture over this blank sheet of paper. So if we are, we'll consider that we're an A Lydian. Again, it's included in the charts here, but A Lydian is a series of 7 notes. A is the root, that's the attraction that you can hear there. That's the piece of paper. It tells you, okay, we're using this size of piece of paper. And then the 7 notes are 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, sharp 7. That's the formula, okay? That's the color set you're using. Now, you're gonna take that and start improvising over, playing some notes. The good news is that there's no rhythm. You can play whatever. Each of these notes are part of the color set you're using. And if you land on one, that's what the listener is going to remember. And what you're going to remember too. Does that landing note, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like, okay, I'm finished there. Goodbye. Thank you very much. I'm done with the song. Thank you. Or, no, I need something else. Thank Thank you very much. Good night. So it's a series of good nights and a series of what? So something like this. That note, which is the fourth, the augmented fourth, 1, 2, 3, augmented fourth of the Lydian mode, could be a good night note. Thank you. Good night. You're still left a little bit wondering, maybe, but that's okay. Or maybe it could be a what note? Huh. What do you mean? What? What? Well, I mean this. Makes sense. Okay, so you need to be aware of these notes, what it makes you feel. And once you have more of a perception of what these notes do, instead of building your story. It's also a great way to get comfortable with the sound of these modes. So you can pick another scale that doesn't have 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, and experiment with that one. Maybe Dorian. You knew I was gonna say that, right? Sounds different, right? Back to Lydian. Let's try some Mixolydian so you can look in your sheets. It's going to sound a little different. Getting carried away, but that's what I want you to do, to get carried away with this. Just dive deep. It's like a book, a really good book. You're diving deep, you're going into different pathways, and the next chapter something else happens, and then eventually both chapters are combined and they become something new, makes sense of, you read this chapter, that brings a new light to the first one, and getting carried away again. But that's what I would love for you to experiment. Get carried away and dive deep into that musical canvas, that musical voyage that you can take. Again, the charts, or some recommended charts are available for you, including the drones. We worked in the key of A. I think there's a drone in E, maybe G. You can make your own. You can get that below. It's completely free. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you like it. And if you did, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification. Oh, you heard other YouTubers say that, but it helps us grow, and that way you don't miss anything. That's really the main point. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, new video. Thanks for watching this. Practice well. I'll see you next time.